And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. It's the first day of Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and Harris County Constable Precinct 7, James "Smokey" Phillips, is helping survivors of domestic violence get a fresh start with a career and support fair happening tomorrow. Write this down and get your pen and paper ready to take down more details as we continue tonight. Now, it's happening tomorrow at the Sunnyside Health and Multi-Service Center. Joining us with more details, we have Constable James "Smokey" Phillips, Captain Holland Jones, Sergeant B. Renee Massey, and domestic survivor Angela Williams. Angela, thank you for joining us. First of all, for those who are not familiar with your story, tell us why you are here tonight and what happened.
I'm here tonight just to be a voice for the voiceless. Oftentimes, there are people struggling in domestic violence or not aware to identify that they're in a domestic violence situation, and they have nowhere to go or no one to call. And if I can be here to let them know that there are people that care, and there are a plethora of resources out there to help them walk their hand, like hold their hand and walk through the steps to help them regain their life and reclaim their freedom.
And what did you endure when it comes to domestic violence? Tell us a little bit about your story.
Well, I was a teen who grew up in Houston, and it was just so normal for Latin and African American cultures to kind of like hush hush whenever family members were
being abused.
Yeah, and hitting each other or even pushing, or, you know, it's just so common in the Latin culture, like, to verbally abuse your children. And then I guess that kind of like programmed me to be desensitized to certain things, and I was exposed to a lot. I ended up being trafficked out of high school, and at that point I became a human trafficking victim. I was broken, but before I was broken, I had boyfriends, and the boyfriends that I had were all toxic relationships. They were all relationships of what the boyfriend and myself were mirroring from what we've seen in our culture. After my trafficking experience, I started to realize that there was a lot of parallel abuse from the cycle of domestic violence and the abuse that goes along with sex trafficking. Not only that, it all ends the same. It all ends the same: jail, death, or near death.
And of course, we've seen some of your photos there, just horrendous and horrible photos and what you've been through, and we're glad you're here. Let's bring Sergeant Massey into this conversation. What we have in many instances in family situations, in domestic violence situations, some family members and some victims sometimes call it a fight. We had a fight. When you were victimized, you were almost killed by that partner.
Yes, and thanks for having us here. Sometimes what happens is, just like you said, they downplay it. And with our Fresh Start program that we're going to have starting tomorrow, that program is going to provide resources regarding educating you toward domestic violence. We assembled a network of resources to help out with mental health awareness, legal aid, social services, financial literacy, and due to victims and not having the proper education, they don't understand or realize that they're in a domestic violence relationship, just like Angela said.
And Captain, a lot of the victims feel ashamed of it, and they never reach out to family members or friends. So as family members and friends, what do you recommend we do to those who feel ashamed?
Well, we need to make them feel secure. We need to make them feel safe. We want them to be able to talk to us about the most intimate abuse that they may face. And the only way we can do that if we as a law enforcement community send a very strong message that we are here to help, we have competent first responders, and that we will have an investigation that is centered on trauma, and we will make sure that they have access to the courts and protective orders and the application for protective orders and ex parte temporary protective orders.
And Constable, why is this important that you bring this to the community in the last 30 seconds? And we'll come back and talk more about the details.
We recognize the importance of domestic violence in marginalized and unprivileged communities. So by the voices from our community led us to this point of having a program like this.
All right, and we'll come back and talk more about the program here on The Factor Uncensored. Don't go anywhere. And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. Get your pen and paper out if you still use those things. Harris County Precinct Constable James Smokey Phillip in Precinct 7 holding a Fresh Start Career and Support Fair tomorrow. If you are going through domestic violence, you need to be there. Sergeant Massey, give us the details one more time.
The details is going to be that the Fresh Start program is going to be at the Sunnyside Health and Multi-Service Center at 4410 Reed Road. That's in Houston, Texas, 77051. If you have any questions that you'd like to call and ask any of our officers for more details, if you missed tonight, you can call 713-643-6118. That's the phone number at Precinct 7.
And of course, Constable, any special, do you have to sign up or you just show up for the event?
No, if you've been a victim or post-victim or pre-victim, just show up. It's our goal to drill down on domestic violence. You know, earlier this year we offered an expungement clinic to get your record straight. Now we're giving you an opportunity to come and talk to our investigators, and we have confidentiality rooms, right?
Yeah.
That you can come talk in confidence to some of the investigators.
All right.
Without everybody being in your business.
And I like that. Keep it quiet. And Angela, really quick, you said if you can get that restraining order, right? We have like 10 seconds left.
Yeah, it's very important to get with the victim's advocate and go through the process to get to the courthouse. Get the protective order. The protective order is so important, especially the extended protective order.
All right. We want to thank you guys for joining us here on The Factor Uncensored and for the work you do in the community, Constables.